Very good afternoon to all the participants today. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our wonderful session that we're organizing today, which is the art of using credit cards. We have with us Mr. Siddharth Raman, who is going to take this session up for us. So we've all been there, right? So we've all used credit cards, multiples of them from different brands, and we've always sort of never understood the actual process of using a credit card. How do you repay? And we've all been there in terms of taking out cash from credit cards and paying 36, 38% interest rates. So this is something that I've always felt that there should be a playbook by which everyone should know how to use these credit cards in a way that can actually benefit them in another way around, not actually hamper their CIBIL scores or their financial planning as well. So without any further delay, love to ask Siddharth to take over the session and take us through his wonderful presentation today and make us aware that how can we sort of make all those celebrity tricks and tips in terms of traveling and staying in luxury hotels and everything else.
Cool. Thank you, Shiva. Hi. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone had a light lunch. So anyway, it's going to be a very interesting session because this one will help you earn rewards, and rewards are nothing but money. In many ways, it's actually a real money, and fortunately, you're not going to pay any taxes for this money, the extra money that you earn while you spend. So yeah, we shall begin with the presentation. It's a quick presentation, not to worry much about it. So let's begin with my story and how I got into the credit cards and all that stuff, so that you could relate it a little bit, and then we can go forward from there. So I started with the credit cards. It's been about 10 years. It's been a decade. I was spending a little bit on the cards. It's about roughly around 7 to 10 lakhs a year back then, like 10 years ago. And I was accumulating good amount of points, and I was redeeming those points for all the catalog vouchers that you would see even these days. It's available. Like you could redeem the points for the speakers and all that stuff. I used to, everything in my home used to be like all the free stuff because I redeemed the points for speakers, even the saris for my mom and all that stuff. But then I did a math and figured out that I was getting only 0.5% of whatever I spend, which is too low. And then I did the math, and I was researching about the credit cards and figured out that I could even earn about 3.3%, or even like 4 or 5% if I'm very smart enough. So what how it differs is like instead of earning or saving about 5,000, I could even save about 20,000 or 30, 40, 50,000 if I'm smart enough to use the right credit cards. So I used to use only the free cards back then, and then I started getting the premium cards, and now I do pay a little bit for these cards to hold these cards. Like this year, I paid about 1.5 lakh just for the fee. This is because I also get a great benefit out of it. Usually, the travel benefits. I enjoy the luxuries from these cards. If I pay like 1.5 lakhs, I easily get about 2 or 3 lakhs benefit out of it every year. So yeah, my game went from like lifetime free credit cards to all the premium, super premium, and the ultra premium credit cards these days. So that's how it is. So yeah, I would. So in that case, yeah, I did all that, and now I'm traveling for free since past 3 4 years. I never paid for my flight, and I stay at Taj and Marriott and all those hotels all for free. Generally redeeming my points and miles. So I would be happy to help you all about that. And I already do it through my blog. It's been about 7 or 8 years old since I started the blog, because back then when I was researching all this stuff, I did not find a solid platform wherein I could read the reviews and get the right cards. So I wrote about it, and right now we have about 1 million unique readers every year. So yeah, that's how it is. And yeah, it's a great fun. It's a nice game to be in, and I'll help you through around that. And I do have a quick presentation to help all the beginners figure out the best cards and the potential benefits that you could get out of the cards if you're into travel or any other, even if you want cashback and all that. So before we begin with the presentation, I will need to figure out what you're actually looking for, because the audience could be completely different, the profiles could be drastically different. So if I know that your profiles a little bit, so that I could emphasize more on those profiles.
So there's a poll live on your screens. Please go ahead and put your answers there, so that will help Siddharth sort of pace the webinar in a way that is beneficial for most of the audience here.
Okay, most of them have a spend of about less than 5 lakh, but it's good to see a decent number having 5 to 10 and 10 to 20. So we will be exploring much into the entry level cards and also the premium cards. So, and it's also nice to see a few having greater than 20 lakhs, which is great. We will cover some ultra premium cards as well. Anyway, this is covered. We'll just see to it accordingly. Great. And we'll also do the second poll.
Yeah. The second poll is live on your screens. Please take a moment and put in. This is multiple choice, so you can select one or more options here.
It's a mixed one. Shopping, travel, cashback, air miles, even civil automation. It's interesting that 62 are interested in it. Great. All right. So we will begin with a quick presentation, and we shall have the queries at the end, and even in the mid, we shall have a quick queries as well. So we'll see. Just a second. Okay. So before we look into the benefits and the rewards and all that stuff, important stuff, let's see why we should actually use credit cards. So I'm not sure all of you are aware of all these benefits. That is, only credit cards has this buyer protection. Like you could even use the debit cards to buy anything, like especially online. If you're buying through credit cards, it's actually safe. Say for example, if you're buying something with a new merchant, like if you're buying some new product with a merchant that is not known to you, like not a Flipkart, not an Amazon, some other site you just found online, you found a great product, but you do not know there's the website. So in that case, the credit cards are very useful. For example, if you buy something and if they do not ship the product, or if they do not deliver the service, you can raise a chargeback. It's called a chargeback or a dispute with the credit card, and that usually helps the buyers. So you can get your money back just in case if the seller do not have a proof of the shipment or anything as such. So it's very, very important. Like this is the most important one with respect to credit cards, and that is also an important reason why I got into the credit cards back then, because I used to deal with, like, sometimes with the foreign service providers. In that case, it's very tough to rely on anyone. So in that case, credit cards are very useful. Just raise the chargeback, and you get the money within like 90 days if they are not delivering the service. That is the most important. And the credit line, probably most of the cardholders these days are using the credit cards primarily for the credit line. This is not something I would suggest, because I personally use a credit card as a debit card. Like if I do not have funds in the account, I do not generally use the credit card. So that's how I do. But because I focus on the benefits and rewards. But yeah, for some people in some stages of life, it's good to use the credit line because it gives a good cushion. And I hope it helps many during the COVID season. Like many were getting hospitalized, and these credit cards really give a good limit, and that helps as hospital cash, I don't know, so things like that. It's good for some, and it improves the civil score, because credit card is usually, it is a personal loan. In a way, it is a personal loan. It's an unsecured personal loan, and when you are spending on the card, and when you're paying it back, it's a good signal to the banks that you have the capability to spend and then repay. So that improves your civil score. That is, I see that many were choosing the civil optimization. It's quite simple, and some people even ask this, like if they can have multiple cards. So you can have any number of cards. It doesn't affect your civil score mostly, but it also depends on the profile. If you're new to the credit cards, or even the loan system, or if you're new to the civil report, in that case I wouldn't suggest opening so many cards immediately when you're entering into the system, but later after a year or two you can have multiple credit cards. So improving CIBIL score is quite easy. You just use the credit cards and pay the bills, and you should be seeing the improvement within 6 months. Or if you are not able to get the credit cards, you can also just get a secured credit card based on your FD. So that you could do, or even you could mix your mix your what do you call, you can get another other loans. There are good loans and the bad loans. Credit cards are not really good in the view of CIBIL. So if you have, or if you can get the two-wheeler or four-wheeler or home loan and have a mix, that also improves your CIBIL score. So yeah, but basically using the credit cards just like that and paying bills does improve the score just like that. Very easy. I do have multiple cards and I always have a score of usually more than 790, in that range, usually 800, but yeah, it fluctuates. So the benefits and rewards, apart from the first three, the benefits and rewards are the most important, and we'll get to it in a minute. Benefits are the standalone benefits that you get out of the card, or sometimes even the welcome benefits. While the rewards are nothing but the reward rate, how much you're getting for your spend. Because, for example, some cards, when you spend, let's say if you spend 1 lakh, you get only 500 rupees out of the spend. But if you're having the premium cards, you can get like 2,000 out of the 1 lakh spend, or even 3,000, sometimes even, even a lot more, like even 6,000 in terms of miles. So some cards are different, and that's most important. Rewards is the most important aspect, but benefits also equally important. So we'll look into the credit card benefits here. So the lounge access is the most widely used benefit. You would be very much aware of it. I'm sure most of you would have used these lounge access benefit. Apart from that, these days, since past 2 or 3 years, we also have the railway lounge access. I think 4 or 5 railways, railway stations has these executive lounge access as well these days. Not much, lately, but only 3 or 4. I think they would be increasing it probably like 5 or 10 in the coming years, but it's a decent benefit on the credit cards these days. But the airport lounge access are the most important, and it used to be quite very impressive back then, but nowadays like lounges are very crowded. So these days what's happening is the airports are having multiple lounges, 2 lounges, ideally, one for the premium cards and the business class passengers. So going forward, I think in the future you need some kind of premium cards, like the paid cards, wherein the access is given to the premium side of the lounge. So apart from that, you would also know about the merchant offers, like the 10% cashback on Amazon, Flipkart, probably the instant discount and all that. The hotel tiers, some cards give elite tiers to the hotels, like the gold status in Marriott and the Hilton, and a few others like Taj as well. So that is one. And the dining benefits are also there. Like some cards gives like 40% off on Swiggy and Zomato. Some cards are there like that. And the Forex transactions. So when you're traveling out of the country, you could use your credit cards. I never, generally when I go out of the country, I never convert my funds into USD or any other local money. I just go to the particular country and use my cards right away there. And if I ever want like cash, I use I have a debit card that gives 0% markup fee, that has 0% markup fee. So I just go to any ATM anywhere in the world, like any country, I can just go and then use that debit card and take the cash just like a local. So I don't need to go to any forex trader and convert all my currencies into USD or any other foreign local currency. Just the ATM would do. There are, I think, very low charges, like 100 rupees or something like that for the ATM, for using the ATM, but otherwise the conversion fees are 0%. That is possible with only few cards, but otherwise you should actually do the, actually have the forex card, because the usual debit and credit cards has 3.5% markup fee. So only the premium and super premium cards has this like a 0% markup fee, and some cards actually give higher benefits or higher rewards when you transact in a foreign currency. So yeah, these are some of the benefits. And the insurance cover, you would know that air accident and the road accident cover would be there. And the airport spas also has come up recently in the past couple of years, wherein some cards gives complimentary access to the spas and at certain airports, I think 3 or 4 airports, usually the metro airports. And apart from that, there are some luxury experiences in which you could enjoy using a credit card. So those would be like airport meet and greet, airport transfers, and golf. So the airport meet and greet. So you would have seen celebrities in Mumbai, like they go through a VIP lane, like there is no security, there is security check, but they don't wait in a queue. So you could also enjoy these benefits complimentary. It's free on certain cards. It's recently launched. I think it's been a couple of, I mean, 2 3 years it's been, uh, when uh, when COVID was there, like they launched these cards during then. Back then, we didn't have this airport meet and greet benefits. Access Bank has, launched these credit cards that gives complimentary airport meet and greet and airport transfers. So you can, you land in an airport, and within 5 minutes you can get into the land side. I mean the air side. You can pass the security. You don't need to go through the a regular. You don't need to wait in the regular security. People will take you through the staff security line, or sometimes using the business class security line. They would speed it. They would speed the process, and you don't need to even wait in the counters. They would take you through the special line. They would just you could easily save like 1 hour in some airports, especially if you're flying like in Indigo. You know that you need to wait at least like 30 or 40 minutes in the queue, many places. So that saves easily like 30 minutes to 1 hour. And the airport transfers, some cards, especially the super premium paid cards, there is only one card actually right now, so that gives airport transfers. You can request for an airport transfer, and they would send a luxury sedan like BMW 5 Series or the Merc. You can move from airport to your place, or you can order pick up or drop. So that is there. And apart from that, the golf is there. Golf games. Not only you can play games, but you can also learn golf. That is the most important. Many people do not know it. Some cards allow you to learn golf, so you don't need to have any golf equipment or anything as such. You can just go ahead and learn the lesson. It's a very good game. I recently got into it, like it's been like a couple of months. And earlier I used to think, like I used to tell people that if I ever have time to play golf, I would rather sit and meditate. So that's what I used to. That's the kind of excuse I used to say. But after I got into golf, it's like I would do both. Probably I would meditate a little bit and then do golf. So it's that good. It's an amazing game, and it's good for even kids. Probably if you're not playing, you can let your kids play, something like that. So this is a quick look into the airport VIP meet and greet service that I availed in Mumbai Airport, Mumbai T2. And this is the airport transfer, luxury airport transfer service and the golf. So we have seen the benefits now. So we will look into the rewards. This is the most important thing as we spoke. So earlier I used to get, like before I got into the credit cards, exploring the credit cards and researching, I used to get just 0.5% reward rate. Now the minimum reward rate you can get out of the cards is easily 2%, and you can even go as good as 10%. So that is, if you're spending 1 lakh, you can easily get 10,000 value back. So which is huge. So that's not with all cards, but it's only with certain cards and usually travel cards. But yeah, very much you can expect at least 2% very easily. Even the free cards, some free cards even give about 2%, 2.5% easily. So it's good. And you can redeem these points for flights, hotels, shopping vouchers if you're really interested in it. And the cashback as well, the plain cashback. There are amazing new credit cards that has come recently that gives like 5% cashback on any online spend. That's huge, one of a kind in the world. We'll cover all that. I mean, we'll see those cards shortly. So here are some of my redemptions. I have redeemed for flights, both in economy and business class. As I said earlier, I no longer pay for the flights. I just redeem my points and sometimes the air miles in respective airlines. Usually I go with the Vistara if it's local, not really flying international, but I do choose like the Air India is good in international, and also the other airlines are there. So here are some of my redemptions. This is the Vistara business class. I have taken more than, I think, about 10 business class flights in the past couple of years. So it's really good. I use one of the Access Vistara Infinite credit card to get these complimentary business class flights. This one is the Air India business class, and this is the Air India business class international. So this one I traveled from Chennai to Singapore. This one, Thai Airways, I flew to Vietnam, and it's a great product. It's a flatbed. So the good thing about the international business class is like more than 50% of these business class seats are flatbed. So if you're flying like 5 to 10 hours international, it's good to have a bed, right? So instead of just sitting, it's good business class. It's good to try, I think. Maybe if not on not on revenue ticket, at least you can experience these through points and miles. And the hotel stays, I have redeemed a lot. I think I have stayed at more than 30-40 hotels in the past couple of years, all for free almost. I do pay a little bit of taxes, of course, and then some food expenses would be there, but apart from that, large part of the expense, like 80% would be covered by these points and miles. So I stayed at the Taj Mahal Palace. Usually it goes for about 30,000, but I booked at some kind of offer like 13,000 plus taxes, and I use the vouchers, so it's complimentary. It's completely free for me. And the Oberoi also, I have redeemed the Oberoi Mumbai, and the Taj Fisherman's Cove. It's in Chennai Mahabalipuram, amazing property. The ITC Grand Chora, it's in Chennai. So all these reviews which I have shown you, including the flights and the hotels, I have reviewed it completely in detail, which cards I use and which kind of miles and points that I have used to redeem for all these. So you can check the blog for reviews. You can just Google it, just like Car Expert, ITC Grand Chula review, something like that. You would get everything. So I have also segments like hotel reviews and credit card reviews, so you can easily figure out all that on the website, just in case you're very much interested in each of these redemptions. So a quick recap. We have seen the benefits and why we need to use the credit cards, and also the rewards, the importance of reward rate on the credit cards. So now that you know the importance of the credit cards and how it could benefit you, now you need to find out the best cards. So if you're looking for the best cards, you would end up in so many different types of cards. It's just like the cars, the cars that you drive, the different segments. Here in the credit cards, I would split these segments into like 6 segments approximate. That would be like entry level cards. These are the free cards, the lifetime free cards, and also the 500 rupees cards, like the low fee cards. Then comes the premium cards, with which you get the lounge access benefit and a little bit better reward rate and the other travel perks. Like sometimes even the premium cards has the golf benefit, and then comes the travel cards. These travel cards are like purely for the travel purpose, and then the airline cards. Travel cards, with the travel cards, you can travel with multiple airlines or multiple hotels, but airline cards, it is limited to a single airline. So airline cards are also there, and then the super premium cards, like those that cost like 10,000 or more, and then the ultra premium cards are also there that cost like 50,000 or more. So ultra premium cards are good if you wanted to experience luxury for less. For example, I have shown you the airport transfer service. So that generally costs about 7,000 or 8,000, something like that, in that range. If you wanted to book a BMW 5 Series as an airport transfer from the airport to your home, but I pay about 50,000 fee for this card, and it gives me four times access for this, and also so many other benefits. I can easily get 70,000 or 80,000 value out of that 50,000 I have paid. So if you have that kind of mindset, it's good to go for the ultra premium cards as well by paying a fee. So we have seen a lot of segments, like 6 segments, out of which I'll share a few credit cards that is the best in the market at the moment in 2022, right now in October. So you can probably consider taking these cards, because these are the best in India at the moment. In fact, these are some of the best in the world. Even the world have not seen some cards like this, especially this particular card, the SBI cashback card. The recently launched, it's been about a month. It gives 5% cashback on all online spends. You spend about 2 lakh and you can get about 10,000 cashback a month. I mean, you don't need to spend 2 lakhs. Even if you spend like 10,000, you would get like 5% cashback out of it. Any online spend, unless or until it's not on utilities. There are few exceptions like utilities and few others, maybe insurance is there. But generally speaking, you would get 5% cashback on most of the online spends, like Flipkart maybe, or even any other merchant that you could think about. So the reward rate is 5%. Like India has never seen a cashback card like this, 5%. Usually it's about 2% or even 1%. Even the world has not seen a card like this. So it's going to be very short-lived, maybe 6 months or 1 year, not more than that. They would, revoke the reward rate from 5% to maybe 3%. I don't know exactly, but it's an amazing card. Consider getting it. It's a super simple application process. You can go through the SBI card website. The airline card, if you're interested in flying business class, this is the card for you. And this is the card I personally use as well. It gives business class tickets. The annual fee is 10,000. By the way, the SBI card annual fee is nil for the first year, and the renewal would be like 999. It's low. It's very much an amazing card. This one is a 10,000 fee. For that, you get one business class ticket. Generally speaking, the business class tickets are cost about 20,000 or so, but with this card you can get a ticket just for 10,000. And apart from that, on every spend you get complimentary business class tickets. For example, on every 2.5 lakh spend, 2.5, 5, 7.5, something like that. So for every 2.5 lakhs, you get one business class ticket. It's an amazing card. It's a must-have if you're traveling business class within India, or even if you want to explore the business class product. It's an amazing card. It's a must-have. This card's reward rate is somewhere around 10% if you are spending 7.5 lakhs. I'm using it since past like 4 or 5 years. It's an amazing card. I always travel business class as much as possible whenever the Vistara connectivity is there. So thanks to this card. So you may consider taking it. So this is the newly, it's been a couple of years anyway, three years approximate. The new card that gives the airport meet and greet, the VIP airport meet and greet service, which we spoke, which you can use it for yourself just to enjoy the luxury, or if you want, you can also get it for your parents, let them enjoy without any trouble. Let's say if you have parents or grandparents aging like over 50 or 60, they could safely, fastly, quickly move into the airport without having to deal with the queues, a lot of queues and waiting, all that thing. So airport meet and greet is there, and the monthly milestone benefit is an amazing benefit that is there on this card. Like when you spend 1 lakh, you get 25,000 worth of points. That is equivalent to somewhere around 6,000 or 5,000 worth of shopping vouchers. Or if you're interested in converting it to miles, that's an amazing value. You can easily get 24,000 worth of value if you're converting to miles. So, for example, most of the Marriott properties cost somewhere around 15 to 20,000 worth of Marriott Bonvoy points. So you can convert these points, these 25,000 points, to those Marriott and then stay. So ideally speaking, every month, if you're spending 1 lakh, you can very easily get 2 nights complimentary stay in most of the Marriott hotels, the premium hotels, the hotels that cost about 5,000 to 10,000. In that range of hotels, you could stay 2 nights for free. So the annual fee is 10,000, but you get the joining fee. Joining benefit you get is I think the Tata Click voucher you get, which is like 10,000. Again, that you could actually buy some gold coin with that 10,000 voucher, which is like, it becomes an investment. So this card comes to you for free if you think in that angle. So it's an amazing card, and no card in the world gives this kind of reward rate. And this also is a great card for spends up to 1 lakh a month, and it gives an amazing reward rate, like 4 to 12% easily. You can also stretch it a little bit and even make it as a 24% if you're really good at redeeming the points for air miles and hotels. So it's an amazing card, not only in India, but in the world. So apart from that, you also have this, the metal card from the American Express. It gives a complimentary hotel hire memberships, like the Marriott Gold, Hilton Gold, and a few other. Apart from that, you also get the premium support is the best in the world, I would say. American Express has the best customer support in the world. You can quickly connect to them, and they usually understand your query, unlike most of the credit card issuers wherein most do not understand the request. You just need to tell them multiple times, but these guys understand it pretty well. And even in fact, other premium credit card issuers, I mean, other issuers issuing premium cards has a separate line for the premium cards. So if you're paying like 10,000 or more to the card, it generally comes with a premium support. When you call, it connects to a different line than you are usually connected to. So if you're having a HDFC or ICC card, if you're connecting, it takes some time and they do not really know about what you're talking to. But when you're having the premium cards, you're generally connected to a better support team. So that is there. And apart from that, the concierge service is also there. Concierge is an amazing benefit on the card, and that's something I personally love it, because these days it's more like an assistant. It's more like a virtual assistant, I would say. You just send any request and they would take care of it. So it hardly takes like a few seconds to write an email, and then they take care of it. For example, if there is a breakdown at home, something like let's say a washing machine service or something like that, I don't call the brand. I don't wait for 5-10 minutes to connect. I don't explain everything. So I just write a free line and send it to MX, and they call, they wait and talk, and they raise a service request number and all that. So they take care of everything, and then they just share the service request number to me on the email. It's an amazing benefit if you value time. Time is money, right? So if you value time in that angle, so it's an amazing card. It's a best card for the premium, for those who love the premium lifestyle and all that. So it's a wonderful card, but it comes at a fee. Even with the fee, you get a decent amount of vouchers or reward points. It depends. These days, currently, it's not an amazing card because the joining fee is not. I mean, the joining benefit is not amazing, but probably in a month or two you would get some good benefit, because they have started, Amex have started taking the applications only a few weeks ago, I think a month approximate. So right now the joining benefit is not that great, but going forward I think it should be better. So we have seen only four cards, I guess. So, but there are so many cards out there, about 20 plus best cards in India at the moment. I have written a detailed article around that, so you could probably check it out on the website. You could see the complete reviews for most of the cards. 90% of the cards that I list here is completely reviewed in detail. You can go through that in detail as well if you're very much interested in exploring various other products. But for most people, for 99% of the participants here, I think the four cards that I have mentioned previously is sufficient. One is the ultra premium card, the super premium card, the airline one, and the entry level one. So yeah, so these are the cards, and of course you can check out the website for more. That is all it is. So now session.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, for taking us to that wonderful presentation. I am seeing a lot of questions on the chat box. I'll probably read it out to you, and then you can answer them. You can just stop sharing screen so that we can see you in full screen.
Just a second.
And before we move into the question and answers, just love to collect some feedback from the audience on how the session was and was it informative, so that we can curate more sessions like this, which can be helpful. So, in the meanwhile, request all the audience here to just take a quick moment and put in your answers in the poll, and then. Yeah. So we have a couple of questions in the Q&A box, and two of them are saying, they say, can we pay one credit card bill from another credit card? If so, how can we? Please share the steps and suggestions.
That is not allowed as per the RBI norms. We shouldn't move the funds from one loan product to another loan product. But of course, if you're interested in paying a fee, you can always load your Paytm wallet and then pay the bill using the Paytm wallet. That is possible. But to load the Paytm, it charges a little bit. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. But yeah, that's one way of doing it if you're really interested in exploring that.
And Siddharth, can you also suggest some good cards in the fuel surcharge line? Because we, irrespective of where we are from and who we are, we always are using cards for fuel, right? So what do you think are some of the best cards in terms of fuel
So the
surcharge?
fuel, the thing is, we spend very, very little for fuel. So hardly like about 50,000 or a lakh, not more than that usually. So I personally use just a debit card, not even the credit card, because I think for different people, there are different reasons. I personally use a debit card because end of the year, it helps me to, the auditor has me like, what are the these spends? And it helps me to find out how much I have put on fuel. That's something I'm very much interested in. But even if I put 50,000 on the cards, it's hardly going to give me like 1% or 2%. Maybe if I do a little bit of math, I can save a little bit. But generally, debit cards are fine, or you can also load your Paytm wallet and use the Paytm. That is fine. If you have 0% charge on the Paytm, it is fine. You can load the Paytm and then do it. That's the best one, apart from the debit cards. But if you really wanted to, if you're happy to spend some time in this and then save a little bit, then what you could do is you could get the vouchers like HP and few other, I think BBCL also. They sell the digital vouchers and also the gift cards. So you could get it on Amazon. It was available a few months back. No, I'm not sure whether it's available now, but that is one way. You can get the HPCL gift card like for 2,000 or 5,000. There are multiple denominations. I think even for 10,000 you can get it and then use that in the petrol pumps and the petrol stations. But the thing is, it's not convenient. It's some people do not know how to use that, not know how to redeem it. And also you can buy the e-gift vouchers also, like BPCL and HPCL both have the e-gift vouchers available on some of the bank portals, like the accelerated reward portals. They have, each of the bank has it. Like HDFC has Smart Buy, American Express has rewards multiplier, something like that. So there you can buy the vouchers and do it. But unless your spends are high, like more than 50,000, I would personally suggest just putting it on the debit card. You don't need to think much about it. You can even just use any cards. Maybe you can also optimize the milestone benefit card. Let's suppose you get some milestone benefit on spending 1 lakh or 50,000. You can use fuel, because most of these milestone benefit cards do not exclude the fuel spends. So that is one way. There are many ways you can do it the way you wish. That's about the fuel cards.
Okay, there's one interesting question from the audience, Siddharth. It's from
Hmm.
Ganesh. Say if somebody holding 7 to 8 credit cards and
Hmm.
spending about 2 to 3 lakhs on a monthly basis, do you think there will be any tax complications or income tax complications there?
Okay, speaking about the income tax and the high value spends, so what happens is when we spend more than 10 lakhs in a financial year with a particular credit card company, not on a particular credit card, but credit card company. Let's say you are having two cards with a particular credit card company, both are included in that. So if you have more than 10 lakhs with a particular bank, it will be reported to the AIS, the annual information statement. So that will be there. So the thing is, I would personally suggest to spend less than your income. Let's say if your income is like about 20 lakhs, spend less than 20 lakhs, or if it's 10 lakhs, less than spend less than 10 lakhs, maybe 7 or 8 lakhs. Because when you spend more, the system knows that, the automated system that the ID guys has, they know that you're spending more than your income. So where is the source? So they may not ask you immediately, but in the future they may send a notice like, boss, you're spending quite a lot, but your income is only this much. But let's say your income is only 10 lakhs, you're spending like 30, 40 lakhs. What are you spending? Where are you spending? Where it's going? Show me all that. There might be a situation like that. So to avoid that, I would suggest to spend less than 10 lakhs. And if you really wanted to spend a little bit more, probably you could consider spreading it across multiple cards so that it's not reported. But it's just a shortcut. It's not even a shortcut, because all the spends that you do on the card, it is reported, but it's except that it is immediately reported. But the other cards, even if you spend like 9 lakhs or 8 lakhs, it may not be reported, but it's instantly available for the ID guys if they really wanted to, explore your case or do a scrutiny. So that is it.
Thanks for that, Siddharth. So there's another question from Rajiv. He's saying, how about Diner's Black Credit Card? So even I sort of wanted to ask you this question. So over the years, we've heard a lot about Diner's Club and Diner Club cards, right? And what is your take on them?
So I'm having this Dynasty Black card since past, I think, 5 years, I guess so. So it used to be an amazing card, one of the best card in the country. I think it's the best card in the world again, I would say like that, because it gives 10x rewards, which means 33% savings on shopping, on most of the travel benefits. It's an amazing card. Um, it's a wonderful card to have. If you can get it, definitely you should get it. So that's what I would say. But what is there any specific query about that card?
He says, how about Diners Black Credit Card, which gives
I
many
can see it. Yeah.
benefits like, yeah,
It's an
redemption
amazing.
of points.
It gives 3.3% return on all spend. Most of the spends, like you spend 1 lakh, you get 3,300 back as reward points, and you can redeem those reward points for flights and hotels. It's an amazing card, but there is one downside with the HDFC cards since past couple of years, wherein you can redeem only 70% of your points, and beyond that, the remaining 30% you need to pay. So unless you're interested in transferring your points to the airlines, something like Singapore Airlines or Vistara, it's not my primary suggestion, I would say, at the moment, right now, at the moment. I mean, it's an amazing card for past like 5 or 6 years. It's the best card you could ever get. It's a most sought after card in the industry since past couple of years. But now the cards that I have shown you, like for example, most of the people I know have moved from the HDFC Infinia and Dynasty Black to the Magnus, because Magnus gives easily 12% to 24% easily based on how one is capable of redeeming. So this is good compared to the Dynasty Black, because there are so many restrictions. Like earlier, they were having a very high restrictions, like very high maximum cap. You can earn bonus points up to 50,000, and then they reduced it to 25,000 and then 10,000. It's very low now. So compared to all that, I would personally suggest Magnus over Dynasty Black. But if you have the requirement for the Dynasty Black, and if you think you do not prefer the Magnus kind of benefits, then it's fine. Dynasty Black is good. Even Infinia is good. Both are good.
Great, thanks so much. We have another question from Vimal saying for Sybil score optimization, they say usually that we should spend less than 50% of the credit limit in any card offered to us. Is it true, or is there any limit to it?
Yeah. So we are speaking about the utilization ratio. So it's not 50%, it's actually 30%. So generally the credit bureaus like the Sybil and there are a few others like Experian, Criv, and a few more. So everyone suggests to spend less than 30% of your overall exposure. Let's say if you have 3 or 4 cards, you have to combine the limits and then do the math. So, and also the math is a little bit difficult because they do not take in your credit limit as the as a factor to do this math. Rather, they use your what do you call the high spend, the highest you have ever spent on a card. That is called like something like high credit or something like that. So that is reported to the credit bureaus. They consider that as your credit limit and then do the math. So I would suggest to spend less than 30%. Yes, that is there. But if you have multiple cards, you can easily spend, you can easily spread it across multiple cards and spend even like 30-40%. But on a particular card, I mean, if you have multiple cards, like let's say if you have 3 cards, if you have 1 lakh on each of the card, you can spend even 1 lakh on one of the card. That is perfectly fine. 100% utilization ratio on one card. That is fine for 1 month. Probably you can just reduce it later, but just make sure when you do when you add all the 3 cards, just make sure you're not going beyond the 30% combined.
Understood. Siddharth, what is your take on these new age cards like Slice, Uni? There are a lot of these companies like
Ah,
virtual banks,
uh,
and they offer these cards where you can, put them into an easy EMI, no cost, no charge, right? All these cards are available for people. Do you think these cards have any benefit so far, or these are just for easy payments?
So I wouldn't suggest taking any of these cards. Maybe if you really wanted to experience these kind of cards, you may go for the uni card that is decent. I refer to that because the support is good and overall the business is overall good. But comparing to Slice and all that, so uni is what I would suggest. But even uni, you do not need it. Generally, most people, 99% of the people, do not need any of these cards because there's so many better cards in the industry that gives higher reward rate than these pay later cards. That is one reason. the rewards are lower, and also the overall user experience is lower. And the most important is these pay later cards are reported as a loan on your credit bureau, on the CIBIL, which is very poor for many people. I have seen many people struggle with that. They just open like 4 or 5 such pay later accounts, and they are unable to close it. I mean, they may close the card, but that particular account linked to the card is not getting closed. So that is reported as a personal loan, which is very, very bad in terms of, in the eyes of CIBIL. I wouldn't suggest it ideally. I have taken one card, that is only one, the uni card. I do have it still, but otherwise I stayed out of most of the other cards.
Okay. So, Siddharth, what is your take on multiple having multiple credit cards? Do you think it's a good idea to have multiple credit cards and use it for multiple things, or
Yeah.
do you have any card on top of your mind that you think that can do the job on all these parameters that we've discussed so far?
Okay, the multiple credit cards, you can very well have as many cards as you want. You can have 3 cards, 4 cards, 5, 10, 20, 30. Some people even have 30. It's actually a mad game, I would say. Generally speaking, for most people, till now, maximum 5 cards is sufficient for most people. I personally have 10 cards. That's the part of the reason why I have so many cards is like I wanted to review it anyway for on the website. That is one of the reason I have it. Otherwise, I would settle just with the 3 or 4 cards. The cards that we spoke just now, like 4 cards, those are most that solves the problem for most of the people, because you can get a cashback, you can get shopping vouchers, you can get air miles, you can get travel benefits. What would anyone do? What would anyone need beyond that? So, generally speaking, 3 or 4 cards is sufficient for most people who are having spends of about 5 to 15 lakhs. But if someone is having so much of spends like 20, 30 lakhs or maybe 50 lakhs in that range, maybe can consider many other cards. Like there's so many cards, right? You can just split it across all the cards. So in that case only, I would suggest going for cards beyond 5. But for most of the people, less than 5 is good, and it doesn't affect the CIBIL. I think someone was asking about that. So having multiple cards doesn't affect the CIBIL. I personally have like more than 10 cards. It doesn't affect my CIBIL. It's always healthy around 800. It's just that you need to be within the limit. Let's say if I have 10 cards, I can't go ahead and spend on all the cards like 100% utilization ratio. That's not suggested. And also, I do not frequently apply. So I apply like 3 or 4 cards a year maximum. I just upgrade things like that. So yeah, if you're new to the game, if you're new to the CIBIL, maybe get 1 or 2 cards and use it for some time, and then go for more number of cards, or probably you could upgrade it. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Great. Thanks so much for that answer. We have another interesting question from Kedar saying,
Mhm.
does paying some amount before the billing due date to reduce the billing amount affect your credit score so that we can maintain the 30% ratio, credit use
Ah,
ratio?
okay. The answer is different because every issuer reports your outstanding at different dates. For example, HDFC reports by the end of the month. Let's say like 30 or 31st of the month, they report whatever you have at that point in time. So in that case, paying the bill just before the bill date will not affect. Generally, you don't need to get into so much details like this. You don't need to pay like this. If you're having multiple credit cards, the utilization ratio never usually matters for most people. So if you're very much aware, very much conscious about the utilization ratio, what I would suggest is just go as good as your credit limit. Let's say you have a credit limit of 1 lakh, go to the credit limit 1 lakh. Probably once in a year you can spend it, and then after that you just spend like less than 30,000. That would be good, because your high credit would be reported to the CIBIL, and they would do the calculation accordingly. So in that case, spending 30,000 would be fine, something like that. So that's what I would say. Paying the bill just before the due date doesn't affect positively in most cases. But just in case, if you're aware of when a particular credit card issuer is reporting, the statement to the CIBIL, if you're aware of that, and if you're able to, pay before that particular date, that's fine. You can do that probably 2 or 3 days before the report date. You can do it. For example, let's say if it's HDFC and for some reason you couldn't manage your utilization ratio, probably you could pay your bill on 27th, and that would reflect there on the civil. Yeah, that is very much doable, but just make sure the reporting date, you're aware of the reporting date, not just the statement date. That is most important. Reporting date is very important than the statement date.
And where can you know that from, Siddharth? How do you know the reporting?
It's known in the civil. You can just open the civil report and you shall find it there. You will find date reported, something like that, for every
Okay.
credit card issue, for every month. Sometimes the banks take even 2 or 3 months to report that, but yeah, it depends. HDFC reports it properly usually, like end of the month.
Understood. So a couple of questions on credit, uh,
Mhm.
right? So these days, a lot of people are on credit, managing their credit cards, paying their bills. Do you think there is any credibility in terms of paying this credit card bills on credit? And probably, so I'm on credit too, so I have like 8 lakh, 9 lakh points, which I don't really use or doesn't have a value, right? So do you think it's a great platform to sort of pay your credit card
Ah,
bills, or you prefer doing it directly?
right. So it depends. So if you prefer convenience, credit is there. You can use the credit, nothing much beyond that. So
So that we lost your voice.
not much. There are no
So
something's
that
happening.
yeah, we lost your voice. Can you repeat the answer if you don't mind?
Uh, is it all good now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's good now. It's good.
Right. So I was telling like earlier credit points were quite useful. Like they had many redemption options, but that is more of user acquisition. The credit is mainly for the convenience. Now you can use credit for convenience, and if you think you have lots of points and you do not know where to spend, probably you could redeem it for one of the charity benefit that they run every once in a while. So that's the only benefit that you can do. Probably like planting trees or like giving away foods or something like that. They do it once in a while every year, I think so. So you can do only that, nothing much beyond that. So it's primarily for convenience, and a little bit of charity using the coins is what all about the credit is all about at the moment. But yeah, it's changing a lot. I mean, credit is changing a lot every year, I think so. So you need to stay updated about that, I guess.
Yeah, so I was one of the early users of credit and had really redeemed my points for a lot of event tickets and all that. But then later it is turned into a marketplace where you go and spend more money, like buying things for discounts, right?
So
So
yeah, earlier it used to be good, and even I have redeemed the points, and in fact I got a recliner that the value of the recliner is about I think 15,000 or something like that. So I won those kind of benefits. So that was good back then, but nothing good at the moment.
uh, if any of the audience has any questions, and if you want to directly ask Siddharth, you can raise your hands. I can move you to panel. So we have another question from Anmol, saying, suppose we have one card with limit of 50K, and we have another three cards with limit of 1 lakh. And if we fully spend 50K cards on that one card, how will it affect the civil?
Hmm.
It's like a
Let me
trick
see.
question.
Leaky gods. It is like, what do you call that when we do the interview, some kind of, what do you call that kind of questions? I used to do this in college. It reminds me of those times. Okay, so if we spend fully 50K cards on one card, how would, okay, so it doesn't affect, as we spoke earlier, it doesn't affect much as long as you're just spending for 1 month. It's perfectly fine if you're just spending like for example during the Diwali season you spend on one card just fully, you're going for a shopping and then you spend full of all your limit like 50,000 of that 50K card, you just full 100%. That is fine, but if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it may affect, but just once or twice in a year, it's perfectly fine. You should be fine, and more you should be fine.
Another interesting question from Kedar says, I have an Axis Ace credit card, and
Hmm.
sometimes if I reach the limit, I pay some amount in the card to increase the limit. What
Hmm.
is your view on this practice?
So it is good. It's fine, just in case once or twice in a year if you're doing this practice. But generally speaking, most of the credit card issuers do not like this practice. For example, SBI even do not allow SBI and RBL, as far as I know, maybe other issuers as well. Even if you spend more, even if you pay more than your limit and try to do spend beyond that, they wouldn't allow you to go beyond that particular monthly limit, monthly credit limit. So ideally, with RBL and SBI, your credit limit is your monthly credit limit. So that's how some issuers do it. But as long as Access Ace is allowing it, you can do it. But I wouldn't suggest doing it in future. So try to reduce it, and probably if you need more credit limit, you can ask for more credit limit by sharing your documents. Earlier, Axis Bank was not giving a credit limit enhancement since past so many years. Only just a month ago, they have started giving credit limit enhancements on request. I have seen a couple of people getting the limit enhancements on request, so you could probably try that if you are looking for more limit.
Any can you throw some light on how can you sort of increase your credit limit? This is a question from Vishal. He's saying if your salary is fixed, are there any ways that you can increase the limit on your credit cards, or is it
Okay.
directly related to your income?
So it depends on the issuer. Let's say if it is HDFC or American Express, it is very easy. So both of the credit card issuers, they want spend. If you are spending closer to your credit limit, or if you hit the credit limit, they will usually send a credit limit enhancement offer automatically within few weeks. Usually, both MX and HDFC, as long as you have not availed the credit limit enhancement in the last 6 months or 1 year. So generally speaking, most credit card issuers give a credit limit enhancement once every year, and some do like every 6 months once. So sometimes if your spends are good, even if your salary is same, you can request them. It is perfectly fine. Usually most of the salaries rise about 5 to 10% a year, right? So it's fine even if it is in that range. So we can just send the salary slip and get it, request them. So they generally increase by 10 or 20%. Or sometimes if your spends are higher, maybe they could even increase by 50% or 100%. It totally depends on the issuer. There is no single answer to it, because every issuer treats you differently, because probably it also depends on your spends, right? So, but generally speaking, it's easier to get higher credit limit on HDFC cards. For example, most of my friends and most of those I know who have a limit of about 2 or 3 lakhs before COVID, they're all sitting with a credit limit of about 8 to 10 lakhs very easily, because during the COVID, like HDFC was sending credit limit enhancements like anything. They give the credit limit enhancements every 3 months once, and people went from like 2 or 3 lakhs to 5 to 10 lakhs very easily. So that was during the COVID time. But even now, HDFC is very good. They're very generous in the credit limits enhancements also, as long as you're spending. Generally, they like shopping spends. The credit card issuers like shopping spends. As long as you're spending on shopping, or if you're doing EMI, they love the profits that they are getting out of it. So if the profile is like that, they generally give a limit enhancement. All banks give like that. Access, HDFC, American Express, all of them give a good credit limit enhancements if the spends are good, and if the spends are in the shopping category, ideally speaking, most of the spends.
Great. So, one question from Kedar again. He says, I have about 45K plus MX points. I'm thinking of transferring them to Marriott Bonvoy as they are giving a 30% bonus. Is there any other way that he could use these points more effectively, or do you think this is the best?
That is the best. I would say that's the quickest answer. I would say that is the best. I have even transferred a lot of points to Marriott Bonvoy during, because this particular offer, everyone were waiting for like almost for 2 years. After 2 years, it has shown up. The Marriott Bonvoy 30% bonus is an amazing one. So you should definitely transfer to Marriott, as long as you are also planning to stay with Marriott in the next 3 months, because from January things may change with the Marriott. So I wouldn't suggest if you're planning to just hold the points for a longer period. So as long as you're planning to redeem it in the next couple of months, probably at least 50% of the points if you're planning to redeem in the couple of months, it's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and redeem the 45,000 points and get the 30% bonus with the Marriott Bonvoy. It's an amazing way to get a super high value with the American Express points.
And Siddharth, what is your take on paying minimum balances on your credit cards, right? Every month, if you're not paying the entire amount, you sort of pay minimums and you push it to the next month, right? Do you think this is a good practice that people should do, or it's a big no?
It's definitely not a good practice, I would say, because you would spend about 20 to 30% in interest. I think easily 30%, 30 to 40% is what they are charging. I am completely against that. Just in case if you are unable to do that, I mean, if you're unable to pay the bills, probably you could convert those into EMI. If you're converting to EMI, you would hardly pay like 12% or maybe 18%, not more than that. So it would be a lot cheaper rather than carrying forward the balance, which is like 30 or 40%. So that is what I would say. And I personally focus on the rewards and benefits thing. So I'm not much into the interest and the other side of the game. It's mostly the entry level segment, but yes, I would highly suggest them those people to get into the rewards game as fast as possible, as soon as possible, because the value is huge here compared to the interest that you would otherwise pay. In fact, we are able to get the rewards and other benefits just because some people are able to pay the interest. So that is also there. So in a way, we should thank them. But yeah, generally speaking, not a good practice.
Honest. We have another person from the audience, Gopi, asking, I have a 1.5 lakh limit in two credit cards, which I am getting only upgrades on existing cards. But when he's trying to apply for another credit card, so his CIBIL is low. Any particular reason that this might be
Okay,
happening?
in that case, you can get the civil, check your civil report. So I think you can get it for free with ICCI premium accounts gives complimentary civil report every 3 months or so, something like that. So you could get a free civil report or the paid report. Paid report would be somewhere around 500 or 1,000, I guess. So get it and check it what's happening with your report. It's not generally about the score. It is actually about the report. Somehow, maybe someone else is wrongly reporting it, reporting some accounts to your account. So check that. So you can find it only by checking the civil score. I mean, civil report, the paid civil report, full report.
Understood. Very interesting question here from Sapna Suresh. Like, what is that one caution note you will share with all of us today in order to not to fall in any of the trap that these credit card companies are trying to get us into? Do you think there's one uh, area where we all fall prey to them?
I think the credit card industry has evolved a lot recently. So there is nothing that the credit card issuers are marketing wrongly. But if I have to see something, okay, maybe I would say something like this: the CPP plan, the card protection plan. Never go for it. That's what I would say. Because these days, most of the credit cards, when you apply, you get the card, and then within a day or two, you get a call back saying that we can secure your card, something like that. So don't fall prey for it. So that's what I would say.
Vimal is also asking that these credit card companies are offering cash loans for regular users without affecting the credit limit. Is it wise to take these cash loans? Will this have any effect on the optimization of the civil score?
Yeah, you can take it. It's a wise decision to take it as long as you're happy with the rate of interest. So yeah, it's good. HDFC has something like what is that, insta jumbo loan that doesn't allow, I mean, that doesn't block your credit limit, and still they give a cash loan. So that will be reported as a separate credit card. I mean, as far as HDFC is concerned, that's what they are doing. I'm not sure about the others. Maybe they are reporting as a personal loan. So it's still good. You can go for it as long as you need the funds and okay with the interest rate. It's good. Nothing to worry about it. You can go with it.
Understood. And any take on paying rents from your credit cards? Do you think that is beneficial in any way other
Yeah,
than
there are many apps. The problem is I couldn't tell a single app or single service at the moment because there is a major problem going on in the industry. So what happens is the rent payment system has started with a cred, and many other players also have like Magic Rex and Red Giraffe. So many players are there. So people started misusing it, so by paying rent to their friends, so things like that. So that has happened, and the RBI and everyone is aware of it, and everyone is stopping the rewards that they are giving on the rent. Some have added a convenience fee on top of the general rent payments that you do, and some have stopped the rewards, and some have capped the rewards. There is it's ever changing. It's changing almost every few months or that. So I couldn't tell a single card that's going to help solve this problem. But generally speaking, most of the cards has a very small limit only. So as long as your rent is less than 50,000, it should be fine with most issuers. You can use any app that you wish. You could see the charges. I think Red Giraffe is the lowest, 0.3% or something like that. As long as you're having a valid document, I think Red Giraffe is the best, and also it works for most people. But of course, you can also use a credit, and just make sure that the card that you're using is allowing you to pay the rent without any charges. For example, SB has recently added the charges, I guess, like something like 1.2% or 1.5%. I have not checked it recently. So that is there. So just be aware. It keeps changing. So if you're really interested in paying rent through the card, just call the customer support of the bank and check whether your card is eligible to use it without any additional fee, and also whether they are giving rewards, and if they are giving rewards, what is the maximum cap. So you need to be aware of these three aspects before going ahead with it. And it keeps changing. It's going to change almost every few months once, because RBI is quite aware of these things happening. So just make sure you are conscious about these transactions every other month, and just track these points whether you're getting it or not.
So, Mohammed Bilal is asking, is it a good option to wait for lifetime free offers on a certain cards rather than to pay the annual fee? Or do you think if there's a benefit that we should go ahead and pay the annual fee?
It depends on the spends. Suppose if you're spending, if the particular card is going to give you 30,000 worth of benefit, and if you're going to pay just 10,000, and if other cards only giving like 10,000 benefit, it's a 20,000 savings. So why not go for it? So it all depends on so many factors. Generally, lifetime free cards. I'm not sure which card he's referring to. Maybe if he can say the card variant, I could figure it out whether it's a good
No,
time
he
to.
means he means in general. There, let's suppose there's an X card, and there's an annual fee of like 5,000 rupees, and probably 2 years or 3 years down the lane, it becomes a lifetime free card with the same benefits. So should
Mhm.
he wait the 3 years, or he should
So it's
just?
better to take it. I think most of the cards these days, I wouldn't say that 5,000 card would become lifetime free that easily. I mean, Axis ran that kind of offer sometime back, but that's just the first year free for the premium cards, not the lifetime free. I think the Axis MyZone card was issued as lifetime free for about 1 month, I think 2 months. It's an amazing card. I promoted that quite well, and many people got it. So that is a good card. But otherwise, most of the premium cards, most of the good cards, they never is available. That's never available for lifetime free. It's very rare, unless the particular credit card issuer is very aggressive. Like HDFC does those kind of offers sometime, once in a while. So otherwise, it is generally not available. So I wouldn't suggest waiting for that particular LTF offer, is what I would say, because I have not seen those kind of offers recently much. So I don't think it would happen again, because I think it happened during the COVID. HDFC was doing that when we spend like few lakhs, maybe 1 lakh or something like that, you get it out as lifetime free. But otherwise, it's generally not lifetime free. But most of the entry level cards are anyway lifetime free. That is there. And if you are having a good spends like 50 or 1 lakh, 50,000 or 1 lakh a year, most of the cards also you can make it as a lifetime free, because there is a renewal fee waiver aspect of that on most of the cards. So if you're spending 2 or 3 lakhs, most of the cards is going to give it the renewal fee waiver. If they are not doing it automatically, you can just call them and ask about the retention of. Most of them will the waive of the fee, annual fee.
Understood. And Siddharth, what should be the ideal credit limit in terms of your income? Should it be 2x, 3x, 5x? How does it work?
So initially, most of the issuers would give 2 to 3x to 3x. That's how it usually works. But let's say if you have the ability, and if you had the ability, and if you had spent a good amount of money, they would start with that particular number. So because see, generally these credit limits depends on the high credit that is reported on the CIBIL. That is one way apart from the salary. So I think there is no much of expectation. You need not expect anything. But yeah, if you're very much interested in having a high credit limit, just make sure you spend at least once in a year, spend as much as possible on one car, like maybe go closer to the limit, maybe 100%, something like that. Once in, not every month, just once in a year, so that the banks and also the CIBIL know that you are capable of spending that much and then repaying. That will help you get a better limit. Otherwise, you can just hope for 2x or 3x of your salary as the credit limit.
Understood. Do we have any questions from the audience? If yes, we can take some questions live also if you're ready to talk to Siddharth directly, or you can just put them on the chat box. We've answered most of the questions. Uh, yes, we have Swapnil who wants to talk to you, Siddharth.
Sure.
Swapnil, you can unmute yourself. Swapnil, you're muted. You can unmute.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yeah, you are. I could hear you. Please go ahead, Swapnil.
You are audible, Swapnil. Please go ahead and ask your question.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, facing some technical problems. So my question is regarding the credit limit, and I had already put in one question that is regarding the CIBIL score. So if we are going to generate CIBIL report and again and again and again and again, we do that. Is it going to hit our CIBIL scores?
No.
Okay, I think I got my answer.
Yeah.
Because when I was applying for a loan, I believe a few months back, at that time, one of the agent has has told me that if again and again I'll fill up the report, then it is going to hit your CIBIL. I thought, okay, I don't want a loan. Thank you so much. So I didn't
No.
take in a loan at that time.
There are two ways to look at this. That is, if you are checking your CIBIL report, that doesn't affect anything. I mean, you can check 100, like unlimited number of times every year. In fact, CIBIL has a premium plan that allows you to check unlimited number of times. So that is perfectly fine because you are only checking your report. That is fine. But if you're going with multiple issuers, let's say if you wanted to check for the best interest rate that the banks are able to offer you, so you are going for a shopping. So you are checking with the 4 or 5 banks, like, let me know your best interest. Here is my application. I mean, here is my details. If you share that, maybe they would pull a lot of reports, like 4 or 5 banks if you are going for shopping. That is not suggested, and that is not something you should be doing. But otherwise, if you are pulling the reports yourself, that's perfectly fine, 100% fine. You can do it.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Siddharth. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
Swapnil.
Okay.
We also have Kedar who wants to ask a question.
sure.
Kedar, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi, Siddharth.
I
Am
can
I
hear you.
audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I recently checked my CIBIL report, and I have seen that there's a some 1,000 rupee loan from IDFC First Bank, and I don't know when I availed that thing. And it's been on my report from past, I think, 1 year. And it's been like the limit is given 1,000, and I don't know how to act on it. How can I close it, or how to act that on that amount or bank? So can you
So,
suggest something? How to?
oh, got it. So there is a concept of dispute with the CIBIL. So you can initiate some kind of dispute stating that this is not your account. That's what you mean, right? I mean, that's not your account. You're not taken any.
Yeah, right.
So you can just mention it. See, sometimes these pay later accounts may also show something like that, but I don't think IDFC has any pay later with anyone. So you can just tell them that's not your account. Please remove it. That's you can just tell them, and they would ideally do the needful after checking with the issuer. And also, you can drop an email to the IDFC to see why this is reflecting on your account. You can just share the snapshot of that particular account, whatever you're seeing on your CIBIL report. and they should be able to do the needful. So only banks has the ability to edit that. The civil generally do not have it, but if they see that the profile is not matching, they can also do the needful.
So how can I speak with this? Go to the dispute with the CIBIL.
Huh. There is a way. I need to check. I think there is a resolution center or something like that with the civil. I have not personally never tried it, but it is there. I've heard from many do that. So just Google it, dispute
Okay.
the civil, something like that. Should be easily available, known to you. Or you can also call them. I think they have a line, support line.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we have Sai Teja who wants to ask you a question. The last of all who raised their
Yeah.
hands.
So
Sai, you can go.
yeah, I have two questions. First question is like if we pay minimum due every month, so will that affect our credit score?
No, you can do it, but that's generally not good because you need to pay a high what do you call the interest, right? So that is the reason why it's not suggested, but otherwise it won't affect the score much. See, generally they know that if someone is paying 100%, it's treated as good account, but if you're paying 5%, it may not affect a lot, but it may slightly affect. It's very less, but it's not a major concern. You may go with the minimum due if you're really wishing to do so.
Okay. So second question is like, okay, we earn cashbacks. So if it's in terms of money, so will that be taxable?
Beyond 50,000, it is taxable. So there's the clause that the government says that if you're receiving more than 50,000 as cashback, you have to report that as an income and then pay tax for it. So yeah, it is like that.
Okay. So and one last question. So we have Google Pay, a kind of apps, right? And where we can add our credit cards. So can we pay through that cards?
Yes, you can do it, but where are you paying?
Like any scan, like whenever we scan in any like
Yeah,
shop.
you can do it perfectly fine. You can do that. It's doable. Yeah,
Okay.
even Samsung has it, I guess. So yeah, you can do it, but for most people, the convenience depends on your convenience. I think some people like it, but I personally do not like to link any of my cards to any apps. So I mean, apps like Google Pay or any other NFC kind of apps. So I do not do it, but it's fine. You can do that as well. I think some people are using the Access Ace card on the Google Pay to pay the EP bills. I mean, the electricity bills. So that's fine as long as you're okay with it.
Great. Thanks, Sai Teja, for those questions. Kanta Bharatwaj, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
I have a dispute with Bank credit card. There was a transaction done around 20K plus. It seems that it is like a withdrawal from a credit card around 20K, which I have not done it, and I have put the dispute. But later on, bank has imposed that back on me, and as I do not have any, any proof that it is not done by me, so can you suggest here that what should I do, because it is not I have not done that transaction, but bank has charged now double. Now it was 20K, but now it is like around almost 50.
So generally, if the bank has decided that nothing much could be done, but you can ask for a relook into the case. I have heard about one such case wherein the customer can ask for a relook. So this needs a lot of escalation. You might need to go for the nodal officer and all that. So I think city should be happy with doing that, but you can try it. You can try that and do the needful. But generally speaking, the problem is the ATM withdrawal. So most of the disputes I have seen is the online transaction dispute that is done on the USD or some other foreign currency. Those generally the customer gets the money without any problem. But the problem with the cash withdrawal is they would not be able to do it without the PIN. So which means somehow it is probably your card is taken by someone, or maybe someone has cloned the card. Even if they have cloned the card, I don't know like how they are able to do the transaction without the PIN. So in that case, what bank assumes is you have you have done it is what they are thinking. That's why it has.
That's
It has.
what even I am getting that answer from them. But then it is like that's what I was. I'm. That's why I'm clueless, because I have not done that payment, and without informing me that this is your transaction, they have straight away starting. They started charging this one. So anything which I can do, any neutral agency I can go for, so that I can. I asked that, what is? Do you know what is a mercantile? So tell me that from where I have done the transaction. At least they can tell me that what is that. They are just saying that it's an ATM withdrawal. At least they can tell me which ATM, right? So they are not
When
giving me those information.
I understand. So when that particular transaction was happening, like, were you having the card with you, or you didn't have the card with you?
I was having a card with me. Yes.
Okay, that's very interesting. So some kind of cloning has happened. So just for
Hmm.
everyone, probably I should say this: you should change your card, or you just need to replace the card every year or every 2 years once, so that this is safe. I mean, if you're traveling to many places, chances of getting your card cloned is very high. So that's what I would suggest. Keep replacing the card. So that said, for you in your case, I think you shall go for the escalation. Go to the nodal officer. Tell that you have never done it, and you're happy to raise some kind of cases. If that's ever required, you can do that. Is you can tell that and ask for a reversal. Or if they can't do it, if the case is not going good, you can at least request for the cancellation of those charges that have added, like 25,000 or whatever you have said, 20 plus 20,000, right? You said that,
Hmm.
right? So you can ask them
Hmm.
to waive of those charges at least. I think they would be able to do it compared to closing the entire case. It's very easy, relatively easy to get the charges removed. So
Yeah.
for this,
But what is a nodal? You were saying nodal officers is like a neutral agency?
no, a nodal officer is an officer with the bank. I
Bank.
mean, with the bank,
Okay.
it's a kind of escalation route, escalation matrix. So beyond the customer support, you can check with the nodal officer, and if they are not able to handle your case, you can go for the RBI ombudsman. So RBI ombudsman is the guy from RBI who can handle the case for that particular bank. So if the nodal officer is not helping, you can go for the RBI ombudsman. So in most cases, RBI ombudsman will be able to help you in your favor in your case. If you're the problem is you're unable to prove that the card is not given to anyone, right? That's even I'm wondering
Correct.
how is that the person is able to do it without your PIN. So somehow that some person has captured your PIN as well. So by the way, you are asking about the ATM details. I think you should be able to see it on your statement as well, right? I think the city would be there, and also the location, I guess, also should be there, isn't it?
Location they have mentioned actually, but that's what even I'm, because before that I have done a purchase from the same market, and yes, it was like a vegetable market, vegetable shops where I have done the purchase, and thereafter, immediately after an hour, this two transaction has come, and I ignored. I could not get it, check the messages. So
Okay, so
where was that was my mistake.
okay, you mean that that particular transaction you have transacted with that merchant already? Is it so?
No, no, no. I have been to a shop, a vegetable shop. I've done the shop, vegetable shopping, and then I came back to my home, and I there after an hour, this transaction, 20K transaction happened, and it was saying that the area very near to my place actually.
Okay. So the ATM transaction is also closer to area. That means somehow something has happened. I
Yes.
think the cloning is what they have done 99%, if I assume it right. And probably that vegetable vendor has able to track your pen. Something like that has happened, I think so. So yeah, you need to take it to the nodal officer or to the RBI ombudsman. That's the only way I see.
RBI ombudsman, you're saying, right?
Yes, just Google it, city RBI ombudsman. You would find all the contact details, and you should be able to do it.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, someone is saying this. I mean, if the ATM is done, ATM transaction is done, the bank can check the CCTV. I think, yeah, those queries usually comes up when you go for the RBI ombudsman. So because when you go for the RBI ombudsman, they will ask the bank, how is that you are able to reject this as a false claim? So they should be able to provide the CCTV footage and all that. So in that case, they will fail. The bank would fail to prove the case. So in that case, it may go to your favor, but it's a 50-50% is what I see.
Mhm.
You can
Okay.
hope for the best.
definitely, definitely. I can go with that. Yes, thank you for this. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Siddharth, and thank you, Panta.
Yeah.
Great. I don't see any other questions popping up or any other
I
hands
think
raised.
someone was asking a few queries before, but I think that is also asked. Okay, government rules. Okay, let's go.
I think there's a
That was
question on Citi winding up their credit card business or handing it over to uh, Kotak or Axis.
City, yep, Access is going to take over all the portfolio. I think is going to be happening in next 6 months, approximate 6 to 9 months, maybe. I think from what I know, is going to be a smooth transition, is what I hear from people I know. So nothing much to worry about. So most likely the card would be mirrored to Access, is what I think will happen, but we do not know until they come up with the official announcement. But from my experience and from what I see as to how Access is handling many cases, I would say that it's going to be smooth because they have some of the best cards in the industry, the best cards in the world. I would say right now, best airline card, best premium card, super premium card, so many cards they have. So if they are able to do this, and also if they are dealing with the City customers, they will be very careful in handling it. So I think it's going to be a smooth transition you can expect.
Understood. So, thank you, Siddharth. Thank you so much for doing this for us. A lot of
Welcome.
questions answered, a lot of queries resolved. I think the Q&A was, the star of the show tonight, this evening. So, thank you so much once again for agreeing to do this for us and our audience. I think there's a lot of information that we're taking away. In addition to the information on the cards, it's up to us to sort of go and do our research in terms of what we want, with that particular cards, right? So, and also want to take this opportunity to thank the audience who've come in good numbers today to understand, I'm assuming that all of you want to sort of make the most of your credit cards, and I hope you got the information that you expected before joining this session. Siddharth, we can also show the slide with your information, contact information, so that if they have any queries, they can reach out to you directly.
Oh, sure. Just a second. I would share the screen and share the details.
So, anyone of you have any queries regarding the credit cards, or if you need any consultation, you can directly reach out to Siddharth, and he'll be able to help you.
So you can have the email ID. It is there on the screen, or you can also just go to the contact page. Or if you think you need a detailed analysis of your profile, I could also do the credit card consultation. I have it as a service. Generally not suggested unless you have annual spend of more than 20 lakhs. That's when you will find it useful. Because of the fee involved in it. Yeah, because most of the articles will help you understand what you're looking for, especially the best credit cards article that I have referred to previously. That is more than sufficient for most people to choose the best credit cards and why to choose and all that stuff. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Shiva, for having me. And
Yeah.
thanks everyone. Thanks all the participants for patiently answering the questions and listening to the session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Siddharth, and thank you, everyone. That's it. That's it from us this evening, and we look forward to having you on our next session next Friday. And goodbye until then. Thank you.